Did you know that even while you're repeating affirmations like, "I want a better life," there may be a quiet whisper in the back of your mind saying the opposite? Whispers like, "I'm not good enough. That good thing probably isn't meant for me," or even just, "But what if I fail?" And then you wonder why the law of attraction hasn't answered you. But here's the truth. The law of attraction is always working. Always. It never stops. The moment you say, "I want peace," but make choices fueled by fear, speak from fear, think from fear, you're planting a very different kind of seed. The seed of doubt, limitation, and delay. This isn't said to make you feel guilty. It's said to remind you can always choose a different seed. You just have to realize what you've been unconsciously planting. Florence Scovel Shinn once said, "Fear is only inverted faith, a belief in evil instead of good." Fear isn't the absence of faith, it's faith in the wrong outcome. When you plant fear, you are using your most powerful energy, belief, to attract what you don't want. Isn't that wild? But no one ever told you that clearly enough. Most teachings on the law of attraction just say, repeat positive affirmations. Make a vision board. Visualize the result. But if you're doing all those things while still carrying worry, doubt, and fear, then you're not planting seeds of good, you're planting the seed of fear. Imagine a farmer. He goes out to the field and plants seeds in the soil. He knows he cannot plant thorns and expect to harvest wheat. Likewise, you cannot plant fear every day and expect to harvest peace. You cannot plant doubt every morning and expect to gather success by sundown. But many of us are doing just that without even realizing it. What Florence revealed wasn't just a technique, it was a transformation of inner state. She reminded us your word is your wand. But the wand only works when your heart believes what it's saying. If you say, "I attract all that is good," but inside you're wondering, "Do I really?" It is that doubt the universe responds to. Here's the real secret. You don't have to force yourself to believe. You just need to stop planting fear. Stop giving attention to worst-case scenarios. Stop speaking about what you don't want. Stop rehearsing the pain. Instead, learn to speak and feel the things that bring you peace, ease, and freedom. Because the law of attraction doesn't respond to words. It responds to the emotional energy behind the words. And once you understand this, you don't have to struggle to manifest anything. You simply become the gardener of your inner world, pulling up fear by the root, choosing seeds of gratitude, faith, and love. Right after this, we'll go deeper into 5 essential truths. Timeless teachings from Florence Scovel Shinn that most people overlook, so you can finally understand how to plant the right seeds. Shift your inner state and truly master the law of attraction. Are you ready to journey inward, to reconnect with the part of you that still believes and still loves? There exists a timeless, simple truth that often slips past our notice. Every thought you nurture is a seed. Whether you're aware of it or not, each day you're planting hundreds or even thousands of these seeds in the garden of your mind. From the moment you open your eyes to the feelings stirred by social media, the narratives playing in your mind as you glance at your bank balance, each of those is a seed. The real question is, what are you planting? Florence Scovel Shinn taught, "What man images sooner or later externalizes in his affairs." In other words, what you allow yourself to imagine and hold in your mind will eventually appear in your reality, not because the universe punishes or rewards you, but because this is a spiritual law immutable and exact as gravity. Dailyvigilance.com, plug 115, nn.wikipedia.org, plum 150, quote, fancy.com, plum 115. Pause and reflect on your day so far. What thoughts have you been feeding? Anxiety. What if something goes wrong? Self-doubt, I'm not capable enough. Or perhaps a resigned mindset. My life will never get better. If these resonate, These are the seeds you're planting, and you're watering them with repeated emotion and focus. What's more, Florence emphasized that emotion is the most fertile ground for seeds to sprout. It's one thing to have a passing thought, another when it's charged with fear, insecurity, or shame, especially if this becomes the default emotional atmosphere of your inner life. Over time, life will mirror that emotional landscape, often with startling precision. I recall a woman saying, "I've done everything written, affirmations, recited them, made vision boards, but nothing changed." I gently asked, "How did you feel when doing those things?" She glanced inward and quietly admitted, "I felt doubt. I feared nothing would change. I tried to believe, but honestly, I wasn't sure." Therein lay her struggle, not in the actions she performed, but in the emotional soil she used to water those seeds. Florence never urged us to force belief. Instead, she invited us to return inward, observe our emotional landscape, and gently choose again. If you can't immediately feel confident, joyful, or strong, that's okay. But you can stop planting seeds of fear, stop speaking poorly about others, stop comparing yourself, stop lamenting the past. That alone starts to clear the soil of your soul, making space for healthier seeds to sprout. So next time you feel triggered, stop and ask yourself, what seed am I planting right now? A resigned sigh, a seed of despair, a judgmental thought about someone, a seed of separation. Repeated inner fear, seeds of hesitation and dreams deferred. In that very moment, you have the power to choose differently, a new thought, a gentler perspective, a hopeful feeling. You might choose gratitude even if you don't yet see the reason. You might choose self-compassion even when you feel unworthy. You might choose to believe that something beautiful is being prepared for you even if your eyes can't yet see it. Those are what Florence called faith-filled seeds. And just a few planted each day, watered with love and patience, can bring forth the first tender sprouts in your emotions, your relationships, your work, in seemingly small yet profound ways. The miracle lies in you, not in transforming the whole garden overnight, but in planting one seed differently. If this message touched you, I invite you to comment below. Share one new seed you choose to plant today. Perhaps it's a single word, an emotion, or a small decision. You might become the spark someone else needs to plant their first seed of hope. If you're ready to continue, in the next part we'll go deeper, exploring a powerful truth. Florence revealed fear is a disguised declaration, its opposite. We'll learn how to identify these hidden seeds and consciously stop nurturing them. Will you journey inward with me? If faith is the seed of a flourishing garden, then fear is the aggressive weed that spreads silently and ruthlessly. Florence Scovel Shinn once said, "Fear is only inverted faith. This means you are believing in something not in good, but in bad. You're depositing faith in the outcome you don't want." Let's look closer. When you worry, "I won't have enough money," you're not simply thinking, it's trust in lack. When you fear they'll leave me, you're clinging to the belief in separation. Thinking "I'll never succeed" is a spiritual contract with failure, even if it's not what you truly desire. The universe isn't concerned with your pleas, it reads your underlying energy. And fear is a powerful, sticky frequency, ready to spark spread and proliferate. One negative headline, a familiar complaint, a fragment of rejection replays in your mind. It fuels the seed of fear, allowing it to grow. As Florence said in The Game of Life, what you fear you attract. Why? Because fear becomes a vivid image in your mind, like a film on loop etched deep into the subconscious. Florence called the subconscious the faithful servant that doesn't question. It acts on whatever you imbue with strong emotional repetition, whether positive or negative. So if you repeatedly feel unworthy, unlucky, or incapable, remember, this is the unspoken truth the universe is responding to. Your energy declares more than your words ever could. Some people express beautiful affirmations, but their hearts are shaking with insecurity. They say, "I tried the law of attraction, but it didn't work." The truth is, the law did work. It just replied to the reverse frequency of fear. So how do you shift? First, stop fighting your fear. Florence never encouraged battling negative emotions. Instead, she taught us to recognize, illuminate, transform. Whenever fear arises, view it as a doorway, a sign where your trust has been misaligned. Fear of money. Perhaps you're trusting your bank balance instead of divine supply. Fear of abandonment. You may be basing your worth on others, not on your own inner value. Observe gently. What am I actually believing here that allows this fear to grow? Then replace it with a luminous new belief. Florence frequently affirmed, "God is my supply, and large sums of money come to me quickly under grace in perfect ways." Use your own heartfelt replacements. I am safe under the guidance of the universe. I am loved, and goodness is finding its way to me. I choose to trust in the light even when shadows surround me. Don't keep these inside. Speak them aloud. Let your voice begin to rewrite the subconscious. If fear returns, be gentle. Forgive yourself. As Florence wrote, there is no truth in lack or limitation. Shortfalls and limitations are not your reality, only distorted beliefs layered over your truth. You can choose again each time you remember who you truly are. You're not alone. In this community, thousands are awakening, relearning trust, halting fear-filled seeds, and returning to planting hope. Share your journey. Write one fear you've noticed, and then the faith-filled seed you choose to plant instead. Your honesty not only frees you, it lights the way for someone afraid to speak their fear. You're not alone. You don't need perfection, just presence. Enough truth to start again. This time rooted in love, not fear. Coming up next, we'll explore a fresh perspective from Florence. You've been using the law of attraction all along, knowingly or not. How do you stop using it unconsciously and start using it with clear purpose? Join me in the next part. You'll see the law in a whole new light. Let me share the most remarkable truth of the law of attraction. It doesn't require your belief to function. It operates every second, every moment, regardless of your awareness or approval. Like gravity, which pulls you toward the earth, whether or not you feel it. The law of attraction continuously pulls toward you whatever resonates with the energy you emit. Florence Scovel Shinn put it powerfully. Every man is drawing to himself the things he fears, the things he desires, and the things he deeply believes. We all attract what we're emitting deeply often without realizing it. We're not always aware of what we truly believe, yet we're living its reflection. A person constantly anxious about money will attract circumstances or feelings of scarcity, no matter their bank balance. Someone who believes love only brings heartbreak will choose relationships that confirm that belief. And a person who fears abandonment may create situations where others actually leave. You see, the universe doesn't just reflect what you want. It reflects what you secretly accept as truth. But this isn't meant to shame you, it's to empower you. If you've been unconsciously shaping your reality, then you can absolutely do so intentionally with clarity and purpose. You reclaim your inner artist in the canvas of creation. I remember a student of Florence's who said, "I realized it's not that I had no dreams. I'd been living on autopilot, driven by fear defaults, old memories. I wasn't creating my life, I was reacting to it." That realization hit deep. When you don't consciously steer the law of attraction, it drives you based on your deepest fears, cycles through old patterns, and reinforces your most familiar identity. Yet the moment you become conscious of this process, you stop being a victim and become a creator. Florence called this person the player of the game of life, someone who knows the rules and plays intentionally rather than letting life just happen to them. How to activate the law of attraction consciously. Become aware of your internal state, not just during meditation, but in everyday moments, while working, reading the news, browsing social media, or chatting with friends. Ask yourself, what frequency am I broadcasting right now? If you detect anxiety, judgment, envy, discouragement, pause. No self-blame needed, just notice, breathe, and choose again. Florence taught, it's never too late to speak a new word. A new word here means new energy, new belief, a fresh lens through which to see life. A little homework for presence. Share in the comments below something you want to be more mindful of this week. For example, I will notice my feelings before I react. I choose love over worry when thinking about money. Whatever resonates with your heart, write it. It reconnects you to the deep, beautiful part of yourself that's calling out for awareness. And if you see someone bravely sharing their truth, encourage them, lend support, hit. Like, we're building a community that is judgment-free, open to fresh beginnings, and full of emerging light. If you're still here, I believe your heart is ready to reclaim the game of life. This time, not as a passive reactor, but as a conscious creator. In the next part, we'll turn to one of Florence's most emphasized truths. Words only wield power when paired with belief, and affirmations are powerless without aligned action. How can your words become a magic wand? How do you fuse faith with timely inspired movement? I'd love for you to continue this journey with me. Imagine you're standing in a garden holding a magic wand. With it, you can make seeds sprout or wither. That wand, it's your word. Florence Scovel Shinn taught us this powerful truth. Your word is your wand. But she always emphasized one critical detail. Your wand only works when it's guided by true faith, not the mechanical repetition of empty phrases. It must be a heartfelt, embodied declaration that whatever you speak is already alive in the energy field and will materialize in your world. Yet we often use our words like autopilot defaults. I'm attracting abundance. I am worthy of love. I'm successful. But if your inner world is dry, filled with skepticism, fear, and unhealed wounds, your words are just noise, not spiritual declarations. Florence said, "Words and thoughts are a tremendous vibratory force, ever molding man's body and affairs. But only when your words and beliefs converge, or at least when you're willing to align with them. Otherwise, your words are negated by underlying conflicting feelings, like saying I'm abundant, while your mind is stuck calculating bills, doubting resources, and living in fear. That mismatch distorts your magic wand's direction." Florence never encouraged us to pretend. She taught us to clear our inner terrain so that when we speak an affirmation, it truly resonates and shifts the energy around us. How to make your words truly powerful. Be real with yourself. If you can't fully believe a grand statement, drop it for now. Start with a gentler, emotionally genuine phrase such as, I'm learning to trust in what's good. I'm opening my heart to receive more. I am choosing to trust that I am guided. Speak it with feeling, not as a wish, but as a personal recommitment to your creative path. Back it up with aligned action. If you say I am worthy of love, don't stay in relationships that hurt you. If you say I believe in abundance, stop avoiding opportunities. Action is faith's strongest testimony. Florence called this walking by faith, not sight. When you only affirm what you see, you reinforce the old reality. But when you speak what you choose to believe, you begin writing the story of your future. Now take a moment. Choose a personal power declaration that resonates with your soul. Write it in the comments, speak it from your heart. No flourish necessary, just truth. Let it be your daily vow to yourself, not a chant, but your living promise. If someone's words touched, you show your support with a or a comment. We aren't just watching videos, we're co-creating a spiritual sanctuary where every word ignites possibility and every interaction is a seed of hope. Ready for what's next? In Part 5, we'll explore a powerful principle Florence emphasized, often overlooked. Action guided by intuition is the portal to turning your declarations into living reality. You'll learn how to tune in to your inner guidance and act without fear of being wrong. Join me as we harness the creative magic of your words and trust walking with what you believe. There is a magical moment that arrives after you've planted your seeds of belief through thought, word, and emotion. It's when the universe gently taps on the door of your heart with a soft signal, what Florence Scovel Shinn so beautifully called intuition. Intuition isn't loud. It doesn't shout or argue. It simply whispers like a passing breeze, that quiet sense of, this is the thing I need to do, even if you can't explain why. And in that very moment, you are standing at a spiritual threshold. You can either cross it with courage or retreat into familiar doubt. Florence once wrote, "Intuition is a spiritual faculty and does not explain but simply points the way. But we've been taught to trust logic, to analyze, to control. So when intuition speaks, we often ignore it or question its wisdom. Have you ever felt the nudge to call someone right now but got too busy? Or a strange but strong urge to try something new, but you hesitated? Perhaps a sudden idea lit up your heart while washing dishes, walking in silence, or doing nothing at all, only to have your mind step in and say, yeah, but what if it doesn't work? That's how we miss the divine detours, the holy turning points our soul tries to send us. And it's also why so many say, I used the law of attraction. I believed. I said all the right affirmations, but nothing happened, because they didn't act when the door opened. Florence called this kind of action an act of faith, and faith without action is like a letter never mailed. But here's the beauty-inspired action doesn't have to be big. It could be an email you feel led to write, a phone call you've been putting off, a heartfelt truth you need to express, a drawer you finally clear out, or simply doing nothing, allowing surrendering, trusting the rhythm of the universe. Every action that flows from intuition is a signal you are ready to receive what you've prayed for. And here's how you'll know it's intuition. It comes with peace. Even if it stretches you outside your comfort zone, it won't cause panic. It feels clear, gentle, like an unexplainable gratitude blooming quietly in your chest. So I invite you now, return to your heart. Somewhere along this journey, you've felt the pull to do something, even if you couldn't name it. If you feel safe, write it in the comments, a small action your intuition is nudging you to take. Putting it in words turns your inner knowing into a sacred promise to yourself. And if someone else's words touch you, leave a kind emoji, a little note of encouragement. That small connection might be the light someone needs to walk through their fear and into their next step. My dear friend, when you act from intuition, you're no longer moving through life with only your mind. You're walking with your soul. And when your soul moves, miracles bloom, because you've begun to live as if what you prayed for is already real. In the next and final part, we'll gather every seed you've planted, from recognizing fear, transforming thoughts speaking words of power, to acting on inner guidance. And from there, you'll see you're no longer looking for the law of attraction. You're living in harmony with it, every day, every choice, every breath. Beloved one, in the end, this journey you are walking is not about attracting something from the outside. It is about remembering who you truly are on the inside. A whole, radiant, abundant soul, one who may have simply forgotten the power that has always lived in their heart. You don't need to become someone else. You simply need to release the fear, the old stories, and the limiting words that were once planted in you. Because as Florence Scovel Shinn so beautifully said, there is no truth in lack or limitation. All those beliefs are only a passing fog. And when you begin to speak a new word, believe in a new truth act from a new vibration, that fog begins to lift. The light begins to break through. You cannot harvest wheat if you are still planting seeds of fear. But from the moment you choose to plant, with love, with faith, with intuition, you begin sowing fields of miracles. Trust the process. Forgive yourself if you fall behind. And each day simply remember, you can always choose again. Choose light over darkness. Choose love over doubt. Choose movement over hesitation. I know this path can feel lonely at times, but you are never alone. Right here in this little community, there are thousands of hearts just like yours, learning how to return home to themselves. They too have stumbled, feared, and doubted. And still they rise because something within them refuses to give up on hope. So if something inside you stirred while watching this video, I invite you to share it in the comments below. Write, I choose to replant, and complete the sentence with one new belief you want to nurture today. Even the smallest seed of faith can change the entire story of your life. And if this video touched something deep in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who might need a gentle reminder of their own light. Who knows, that may be the wand that awakens their soul. Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the notifications, not just to follow new videos, but as a daily reminder to yourself, I'm on the journey back to my true self. Every time you return, I'll be right here, your companion on this path, carrying the timeless light of Florence Scovel Shinn's teachings. Together, we'll walk, we'll heal, and we'll replant entire fields of light. You are the chosen one, not because you are perfect, but because you are brave enough to begin again. And now the door is open.